Oh man.
Hey, 6:30 crew. By the way, I had such a killer mix for you this morning and forgot to hit the send button on it. My bad. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Friday, August 5th, 2022. If you hear a scratch in my voice, it's because I'm down with the COVIDs. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? If you got a big suit, then take it off.
Take that jacket off.
Loosen up that fat tie. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek. I'm gonna say Star Trek every time. That's what it is. But you know, he's here in spirit, and he's probably here. Always. He's probably here for real anyway, just sharing the show. So that's what's up.
Making sure we don't mess up.
Star Trek Rich don't wear no big suits.
Nah, man, nah. You like that one, huh? You like that?
Those suits ain't even fly. I love it. I love it.
Gotta have some pinkies up around here, man. Pinkies up.
High to the sky, baby. Friday, August 5th, 2022. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I'm live from the co-void.
The incubator.
Got a whole bunch of good mornings this morning already. That's what's up. Thanks for getting up early with us. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Michelle Moreno says good morning. Good morning, y'all. Facebook user. Got to see who that is. Bianca Johnson says good morning. Another Facebook user, good morning. Pop says good Friday morning, one and all. Glad to see you, son. You too, buddy.
Hey.
Facebook user says good morning. Where are you broadcasting from now? The Void. Live from the co-void.
Yeah, he don't need to be around nobody.
I'm still in Omaha, Nebraska. Buddy is in Atlanta. GA. Von Chapman says, what's up and good morning. Good morning to you too.
Top of the morning.
Carolyn Jack gives us a good morning with some sunshine. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Thanks for joining us. Purple fam in the house. I'll go ahead and look up real quick who's giving us. Oh, there's a Beth Alvarado. Hey, good morning, Beth. Hey. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. Man, I had a mix for you this morning too.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of it. It was nice. Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Got to hit send, but it's all good. Blackity Black says good morning with some sunshine. Appreciate that. If I have to start doing like Erica and leave my initials now.
It helps. I'll be honest.
Kimra Snipes, yes. KZS, I appreciate you.
You remember the MySpace signatures? I don't know if you the text signatures back in the day.
I kind of do remember that, yeah. Man, you old enough to remember MySpace?
Come on, man. Hey, man, I remember the old world, bro. I remember the old world.
The old world.
Yeah, the old world. Had a beeper, one of them block cell phones.
You had a block
backpack? With the backpack.
Dang, he was
Pops did, but I was playing with it.
That's what's up. That's really what's going on too. Hey, thanks for joining us again. Friday, August 5th, 2022. Tootie. And yeah, this is a Friday. I don't know why every day feels like a Monday, but it is what it is. Yes, thank you very much. I am down with the COVID. Oh, Keatron, what's happening? Does my profile say Facebook? It does. I think that's because you're over on Friends of First Sky Omaha, which is fine. Just doesn't show us. Yeah, I see you over there though. So Kimra Snipes gives us a good morning, y'all. Keatron says good morning. Where are you broadcasting from now? Yes. This is the house. I am down with COVID, so I'm isolated, and so I call this the Void. So I'm down with. I'm broadcasting live from the Void. Buddy is over at Life is God Studios over there in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Black says, hope you're feeling better, Paul. I'm feeling slightly better. The fever broke the night before last, so that helped.
Okay.
But
I was sure you was gonna call it off. I'll be honest. Definitely. When I talked to you yesterday, man, the way you were sounding, I was like,
yeah, I did a little bit of what you call it,
self-care.
Yeah, just took some stuff and try to knock it out. I'm on cold medicines and all kinds of stuff now, because that's really what it affects you that way. It affects me that way anyway.
Well, I mean, that's what I've been hearing. Like mild.
Well, it's like a really bad sinus infection / flu / whatever. So about the body aches and stuff was really, really harsh. But I will say that I almost feel like I knew exactly when I got it when we were at the concert last week, Napa Valley. The last day I was feeling real, like everything was sore. I was jacked up. I was like, I know it's not just because I've been standing here this long. This is am I getting that old where I can't even stand up all day at a concert, And I was feeling real strange. And then I said, finally, I had to go sit down, and I felt like I was going to pass out a couple times. And then I just kind of like rested my eyes, fell asleep for a minute in the VIP lounge, and I woke up and felt great and came back down and had a great time. It was good, but it was sinusy and shaky the whole time. By the time I got back in town, straight flu-like symptoms. Yeah. And that's the sweats and the I got 107 degrees in the house, but I'm freezing, dressed up in a big suit with 3 blankets on, trying to sleep. Wearing a 3-piece suit to bed and
oh man, with the fat tie.
That. With a fat tie, yep. So and I appreciate everybody. I put it out there that I had it, and I got so many people that were like, do this, do that. And I was like, hey, thank you. I'm gonna try it all. I ain't trying to be down too hard on it. But I think that it didn't hit me as hard as it would have. And so I'm glad that I had gotten the vaccination and boosters and all that. So I kind of feel like it would have hit me a lot harder. I can tell that it would hit me a lot harder. I can almost tell like I'd have been really jacked up. So anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, man. We were, like I was saying before the show, we were in such close proximity. I mean, we were riding in the car for hours together, and I didn't get it. I mean, I've taken a home test. I'm going to take my second one to be sure today, but no symptoms. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. So it's still a real thing, y'all. Please stay vigilant.
Yes,
be smart. Be careful.
I'm just glad I didn't get monkeypox. Man,
and the baby's getting it now. We'll definitely be talking about that a little later on. It's a real thing. It's official now. So, yeah, man. Please be careful. And also, as told by the griot, polio is making a return too, man. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, man. Yeah, polio. You heard me.
That's weird.
Yeah, man. We'll talk about that. I guess we can dive into what we have going today. Yeah. Hopefully, let us know how you're feeling. It is a Friday, right? Yeah. So let us know what you got going on this week and any events coming up. We will be having our extensive Happs, at least we try, later on today. If I'm not mistaken, no guests today.
No guests today.
Just the dynamic duo. And all of you. So definitely looking forward to the conversation. As always, let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Please chime into the chat, or, if you're a ghost listener, that's all right. We still appreciate you. We still love you. Just please, if you are a ghost listener, continue the conversation with your family, your friends, take it to the highways and the byways, continue the conversation. That's what it's all about. Expand your mind. But yes, we will be talking about several things, including some of the emergency declarations, if you will. Monkeypox officially considered a public health emergency by the White House. So we'll dive into exactly what that means, what to look out for, some of the symptoms, things like that. Again, please be safe. Be careful out there. Also, a lot of people actually outside of the sports world chiming up on this latest story, which is quite interesting, talking about Brittney Griner, man, sentenced to 9 years in Russia. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. And actually there's more to read into it than just the sentencing. So we'll kind of break some things down. Also, speaking of breaking things down, finally, is the Blue Shield breaking down? The feds have charged now 4 police officers in the fatal Breonna Taylor raid. And Paul B, you kind of caught this when the conviction surrounding the George Floyd situation, when those officers were convicted. He's like, hey, this might be a change in the tide. So we'll talk about that coming up. And then also we didn't really get to get into it too extensively last episode, but talking about some Omaha planning, Mayor Gene Stothert things. Again, the Omaha board still considering these charter changes, and we didn't really get into the 84 days that Mayor Gene Stothert has been absent. Yeah, we gotta talk about it, man, because there's some things she missed that I wasn't aware she wasn't even around for, which is quite interesting. And then, of course, more TIFF stuff, as season 4 we're in right now is all about following the money. So yeah, man, we'll talk about that and more. Of course, as always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing that you'd like to dive into, please feel free to drop that into the chat. Let us know, and we can try to touch on it if we have any information. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. First Sky Omaha. Let's go.
7-11. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers. Shout out to Star Trek Rich over at Weberize. Definitely, if you have podcast ideas, go to weberize.com. We have changed our situation over there with them. We're not there on Monday, Wednesday, Friday anymore, but we will be doing some special roundtable sessions over at Weberize Studios, some other things that we got going on. So they're still our partners. We just decided that we're going to float around a little bit. I can't float anywhere right now, though, because I am down with the COVIDs. So that's what it is. Got an assalamu alaikum family from Melvin Muhammad.
Alaikum salam, brother.
And thank you very much for looking out for a brother, too. Appreciate you. We'll talk about it. Also, Blackly Black says, hope you're feeling better. Paul, thank you very much. I am feeling a little bit better. Michelle Moreno says Sudafed works great. I'm definitely on that sinus medication in a real way. Brother Muhammad says, you do look better, brother. Appreciate you. Rome's Review says 133 subscribers over on YouTube. So appreciate that very much. If you have a YouTube page, if you're on YouTube a lot, then definitely check us out over there and watch previous episodes, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Pop says, son, welcome to my world. I feel like that every day, but I don't have COVID.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Pops, I hear you. When I get bad sinus infections and stuff like that, this is about how I feel too. So it happens, several times a year, especially during the season when all the pollen's in the air and all that good stuff. It can get rough, but gotta keep on pushing, like Big Wade and the Black Swan Theory say.
Hey, keep on pushing.
There you go. Bianca Johnson says, I just qualified for a second booster. I got it. Yeah, man. I'm thinking it would have hit me a whole lot worse if I hadn't. And what's really funny about it is that I feel like I've avoided it all this time. I haven't caught COVID all this time. Like, been super, super diligent, careful. All the for the past, how many years now it's been going on? 2 years.
We're going on 3.
Going on 3 years. So, I still get them looks because I still walk around with a mask on a lot. Failed to do it over at the concert though, which I should have thought of. But I was in a whole nother world over there. Like,
it was interesting because you had the neck, you had the handkerchief on.
Right. But just head so into what was going on around us.
Man, it was definitely I had to be there.
But I best, but so on top of it being a legendary event, it might have been a little super spreader too. But I don't know. We'll see how many people got sick. But I definitely got sick there.
Yeah, and we will put out Erica didn't come because she got in contact with COVID. So we never got to contact Erica.
That's right. I don't even think she was in town though, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I don't know. In the chat, Facebook user says, "Well, the masks are about preventing you from." Yeah, I know. But they also have a study that said that when you wear one, you get a little bit of prevention as well from other people. But yeah, there's not much I could have done if just being there is going to. It could have been something I touched. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been so many things. But you don't have that many people with a something going on like that. It's going. I just wasn't really thinking about it too hard. I thought about it on the plane hard. I had that mask on, double masked up on the plane, like not having it. So, but but where I was at was not thinking about it. So it is what it is.
I mean, and I will say we were outside, which does make a difference.
That too, right. Weren't very spread out outside, but we were outside, so kind of made you feel like you didn't need it. I don't know. But here it is. Nonetheless, I'll keep you posted how it's going, how I'm feeling. I like the fact that people have hit me in the chat, shared their experience, what happened to them, how they felt. We kind of are figuring this thing out still.
Oh yeah,
We got
that's a
different remedies.
constant, figuring it out together. But I will say, man, I just commend you for the commitment to this endeavor that we have embarked on together, and just this whole thing, man, for you to be here right now. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. I love being here, so that's what it is.
I was sure I would get to sleep in this morning.
Why you hit me like, how you feeling?
No, we here, man. We here.
Todd Pinson gives us a morning love, everyone. Thank you very much. Black Dynamite says, top of the morning, fellas. How you feeling, Paul? Much better. After the fever broke, now it's just all about the symptoms. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, in my nasal, in my throat, but it's still there. So, I ain't doing nothing but resting, laying down, and getting up and working, sitting here tapping on the keys all day long. So if I can do that, I can do this. And that's what it is. Michelle Moreno says, I still wear my wet mask at work.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be back diligent. Don't need to catch it again. So, and by the way, there's other stuff going on now, man. Can you imagine if we had the same kind of spread with monkeypox?
Man, yeah. I'm actually kind of getting a little worried. I've been hearing there's more and more like I'm in a hot spot. The Atlanta area is supposed to be a hot spot for monkeypox. I think California, Georgia are some of the more active states.
California's in state of emergency now.
Really? And it's where we just left.
Put
that out there. There. So yeah, y'all please be careful, especially if you're planning on traveling for the remainder of this the summer.
Yes, sir. Well, Stacey Jean gives us a good morning for Sky Omaha family and friends. Happy Friday and some sunshine. Appreciate you very much for that. And yeah, we should probably go ahead and get
into it and start the thing.
Outside. Right. Yep. Let's get into it. What do you guys got on your hearts and mind? Let us know what's been going on. You're doing a great job going into Friends of First Sky Omaha and dropping some articles and some things. But we all know that we got some things heavy on the mind, some local news, especially these TIFF funds that just got approved. These projects that got approved are interesting. One of the things that got approved was something that they are calling affordable housing. I can't wait to dig into that and see what that is.
Yeah, buzzword. Let's go ahead and dive right into that. Actually,
Yep.
Again, big shout out to Dewan for laying out the TIFF projects that have already been approved and are already underway. Actually, some of them complete at this point, and now 3 more projects have been greenlit. For actually 4 more projects, for TIFF financing, our favorite word around here. All the projects that use North Omaha for its designation that don't really have anything to do with North Omaha. Plans in Omaha for an office building, 2 apartment complexes, and 1 affordable housing complex with mixed use building have all received the initial go ahead to receive tax increment financing, or as we like to call it, TIFF. The Omaha Planning Board approved the 4 separate projects at its Wednesday meeting. If the projects receive final approval from the Omaha City Council, they would receive nearly $25 million and combined tax increment financing, knocking that total closer to $700 million in Omaha tax projects or TIFF projects. Used in Omaha since 1980, tax increment financing is used to boost local development efforts. Under the TIFF incentive program, the developer of a city-approved project takes out a loan to help cover eligible redevelopment expenses. The loan is then paid back generally over a 15 to 20-year period by using the increased property taxes that are generated on the new development. Normally, all property tax payments go to support schools and other local governments, but during the TIF period, the development's property taxes are divided. Some go to local governments based on the valuation that existed before the improvements. The rest of the taxes, based on the added valuation from those improvements, are used to repay the TIF loan. And so, again, the money is paid back through property taxes during a 15 to 20-year period. And if I'm not mistaken, that was recently boosted up to 25-year period. And after that loan is repaid, all the property taxes collected on the improved property start flowing to the local governments. The TIF incentive program sometimes draws criticism, but of course, advocates say it encourages more private investment, particularly in older parts of the city. So laying out the 4 projects, one is a 4-story office and commercial building, which is proposed to take up a space near 15th and Mike Fahey Streets. The 115,000 square foot building includes spaces for offices, food and beverage, as well as retail and commercial. So nothing about housing. Also a 5-story apartment building, which would rise near 48th and Dodge, kind of the Midtown area, replacing a family home or a single family home with existing commercial buildings along Dodge Street. So kind of a mixed use building. Also a 255 unit apartment building, which will go near 72nd and Grover. And finally, a proposed affordable housing complex, which will go on North 30th, which already received some approvals last month and is actually in line for nearly $2 million in tax increment financing. So of the 4 projects, only one will be in North Omaha. The project, which is called Kennedy Square East, will be a 102 unit mixed income housing arrangement in 11 residential buildings in 1 mixed use building. So again, that's near 30th and Spencer.
Okay, let us know how you feel about this. Black Dynamite says more shops and apartments.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. This is there's a lot of outside groups that are coming in, taking up spaces and building apartments and really not, rental. The whole idea of rental, which is fine. It's fine if you're a renter, but in places like North Omaha where we need to build more wealth, we need to have more homes and have more people buy homes and so on and so forth. So I don't get very, very excited when I hear about apartment complexes going up. I think it's interesting that it's a apartment complex going up that they're considering it being, what are they saying? Affordable housing.
Yeah, mixed income housing, which I
Mixed
believe
income.
that's the Highlander.
Highlander has that too. Yeah, it's like a sliding scale. So depending on how much you make is how much your rent is, or something like that. So sounds like they're going to do that again. And we're still kind of talking about Highlander, and there were some questions last week about where the people got displaced that were there.
Where are they?
Where are they now? Who lives there now? When I checked on the place, there was a high percentage of people of color that lived in those places. So I mean, if it's gonna be, if you can live in North Omaha and you can afford the rent, that's great. But at the same time, we're trying to build some wealth in the community, and I don't really, and that doesn't really lean to that. But let us know what you think. I want to hear you guys in the chat. Also, if you're in the chat, if you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. Share the show on your page so we can get as many people in talking about these things as possible. What do you feel about these buildings? These plans for these buildings? It's going to be housing all over the place, but like Buddy said, one complex in North Omaha and other complexes in a bunch of other different places. So how do you feel about this? What do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a thing that will help any of our situations? And of course, I know we'll get a bunch of feedback on the TIFF aspect of this as well, because
Right, right.
we always are talking about it for sure. Black Dynamite in the chat says, I think that apartment on Dodge is the first that came up in the news because they wanted to tear down historical black stone building to build whitewashed apartment buildings. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's replacing 9 single family homes, which stood out to me. We need to get somebody. I think it's called the Missing Middle, or there's an organization that's looking at the types of housing that's available in North Omaha and kind of East Omaha. If you want to expand that, but looking at the types of housing that's available and the impact it has on just the ability to build community, and that's the ultimate thing, not just building wealth, but we want to build community as well. And these apartment buildings where you kind of go in the entrance and go straight to your unit. It's not much interaction with residents and things like that. It just doesn't really generate a lot of community. And then also just the wealth building of a single family home, man, it's nothing like having your own home, and kind of need more single family homes than these sardine like apartments. and
Very
and
true.
also this spot on 30th, man. I don't know, this might be just my feelings or what, but I'm kind of getting the sense, like, are these the new projects?
It's funny. I guess the friends that do call it that.
Are these the
Uh,
new projects?
I'm not sure. I was actually thinking about that, the Highlander, because I'm thinking about, in terms of what you just described, a place that's supposed to be building community. Not just, you're right, not just thinking about building wealth and ownership, but also just building community. I know that there's a big coffee shop there, Big Mama's Kitchen is up there, Best Burgers. You know what I'm saying? There's some places up
Hmm.
there that people gather, bunch of gathering spots. I've been there for several meetings, several events,
Weddings.
all kinds of stuff, right? Even weddings and excuse me, all kinds of. I was just there probably 2 weeks ago, in the big event center they have up there for a gathering. So there, there's, and they have movie nights there, and they got all kinds of stuff going on. Like, it feels kind of forced. And I've been to several things and still don't really know who lives in the complex. Um, so I think there's some work that needs to be done on the community building aspect of it. And even though they're trying to do some work, it seems like they got to kind of force that situation a little bit, because there's not a whole lot of other things around there. I think when you're building a community, you're there's parks nearby, and there's, you can see people in green spaces. You can see people going to the movies. You can see, what I'm saying, there's other things that's needed there to kind of build a community than just what's there, unfortunately. So if they're going to build another thing like that, I think it'll be more the same of them having to force community, having to um and I'm go back and forth about this, because I just went through this, like, looking for a place to live thing last year that was hectic. So I tried to get a spot at the Highlander, like looking for housing, trying to find housing at all in the first place is really tough. So one side of me is like, okay, great, a whole nother option here for people that are really struggling to look for a place to live. But at the same time, in the grand scheme, it would be better if we can try to have some ownership, build some wealth, and be a part of designing our own community with some of these kinds of buildings and things like that. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. My final thought on the thing also is just with the whole tip situation and breaking down. I think this article does break down better than other articles that we've gone over, discussing TIFF, exactly what TIFF is and how it's used, and how it's paid back and things like that. But that makes me think of the delayed property taxes that the local government, the schools won't get for the next 15 to 20, 25 years.
Mm.
And it's like, what happens in the meantime is there continued displacement, and by the time those property taxes do start kicking in, what would the community look like?
Very true. Black Dynamite in the chat says, I was trying to get in contact with the leasing office to get some information, and they have a thing where you have to set up an appointment just to talk to somebody, but then they don't call you back. Yeah, they have a very corporate structure there for that. There's a parent company that owns a bunch of stuff, and you have to get a hold of them. They got back to me and said they had one unit left. I didn't get a whole bunch of information on that unit, but I waited on it, and then I think it got filled later on. So it's definitely there's some things that they could do differently with places in our area for just in the way that they are thinking about people that were there before. Like Wanda Lewis said in the chat here, they would have been better off keeping the old brick structures and renovating them instead of building new ones with prefab press board materials. So that just makes me think of like if they're tearing down stuff, then people are having to move. Where are they going? Where are they being displaced? And no, you can't get as many people into one of those old structures that you're renovating. Yes, you can get more people into a new structure that you build. Is that a good thing? I mean, it's good and bad, man. It's good and bad. So give us your thoughts. Love to hear from you on this. Now or any other time, you can always go to Friends of First Sky Omaha and drop some notes in the chat there or comments there. You can also comment here. If you're on Facebook, share the show so we can get as many people commenting on this thing as we can. If you're over on YouTube, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Josh Tate gives us a good morning, sunshine, and happy Friday, friends.
Hey.
Thank you very much. If you're just joining us, I know that people come in and out because you got your morning routine going on. So just to let you know, it's First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We are live from the void right now. I am in the co-void right now, as a matter of fact. Omaha, Nebraska right here. Buddy is in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're talking to all of you and love having these conversations every day that we expand what we're doing here at First Sky Omaha. We gain even more appreciation for the fact that we have friends that come on here and discuss these things. And trust me, people are listening. People are listening to what it is that you all and we all are saying. So that's what it is. Wanda Lewis says they would have been. Oh, she already said that one.
Yep.
Terry Human Peto says good morning with some sunshine. Good morning to you too. Thanks for joining us. Share the show on your page if you will, and we'll keep on rolling. Christy Norris says good morning. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you. How are you guys feeling about any of these things? Is anybody out there struggling with finding housing right now, or affordable housing, or struggling with the bills in the place that you're at? Is anybody trying to go for buying some homes right now? Is anybody going after that family, the familiar wealth that you can build that way? Let us know. Let us know what's going on. Are you trying to sell a home?
Yeah,
that's a deal too.
That's a good question. Actually, that made me think of that development that Habitat for Humanity is starting to build. Is anyone getting in on that? Does anyone have any more information about that? Because that was, like you just said, that was more along the lines of home ownership and not just renting an apartment, but actually owning some actual property. So, yeah. Anyone looking into that?
Bon Chapman in the chat says, without rental caps, renters will be at the mercy of the new investors that own the rental units. Market rates increase are controlled by those owners, and restrictive covenants will exclude many from the targeted community.
Yeah, I will say that during my housing hunt here in Atlanta, one of the things that I ran into very, very early on, really dealt with all last year, was the change of property managers and how that can happen very swiftly, and how property managers, like, developers built the units, kind of get people in it, make their money, and then sell it to a new management company, and then the new management company comes in. Next thing you know, you can't get nothing fixed, rent's going up, people getting evicted.
Yeah.
So just wanted to...
And you remember we reported like about a month ago on the fact that their whole business model is to raise the rent high enough for people to move out.
Yeah, that was the company from Ohio.
So it's interesting to see who's behind, especially the one that's coming in here on 30th Street. That's something that we can absolutely look into, try to find out who's behind that complex, that building, and see what's up there. Rose Review says, saving for a recession coming our way. There you go. Pay off them credit card debt bills and everything else, because it's about to get hectic as far as the recession stuff is concerned. So thanks for that, Mayor Sanchez. Good to hear from you. It is what time is it right now? 8.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
7:35. What?
Really quickly, I think the developer of the North 30th development that it is that company that we're just talking, Brenshaw Development. I think that is the company. I'll go back to the Chris Bowling article to verify, because that's Chris Bowling is the one who brought that to our attention. But they in the article they do lay out who the developers are of these projects, and Brenshaw is the developer of the North 30th project, being called Kennedy Square East.
Okay, so and they're in the quote unquote affordable housing with a company that we'll double check on this company.
Yeah. Actually, let's about 30 minutes into the hour. Let's go ahead and dive into a quick break and come right back. I'm looking at
before we do that, Wanda Lewis says Habitat has mostly gotten away from home ownership. Tenants are being interviewed said that they can only live there for 5 years, and they will have to move. Wow.
Ooh, that's not what we heard, and that's not what was reported early on. It seemed like they were providing resources just to sustainable home ownership, and now there's stipulations.
Very interesting. We'll take a quick break and come back. 7:36 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Thanks, Pops. That's one of Buddi3 Da Gawd's specials right there. On the track. Love it. Lots going on in the chat this morning. I can see it. It's some great questions out there. Von Chapman's asking what's going on with the land bank. A very good question. Haven't heard much going on there. Chelsea gives us a good morning. She's coming in late, but coming in nevertheless. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Wanda Lewis says it's a Buffett company.
See, that's why I like this show. That's why I like this show. Reading between the lines in real time. We're sitting here figuring it out, man. Yeah, I'm looking at the website. Of course, it doesn't say, but we're gonna follow the money on this one.
Wow. Von Chapman says it's in Brenshaw, underwritten by the Buffetts. Yep.
And see, and getting to the nitty gritty of it, y'all.
Well, Wanda Lewis says in several different cities as well. Von Chapman says, if you don't own nothing, going forward you won't have nothing. This is very true. Where'd you go?
Not sure what just happened. We just had a dropout. You disappeared and I disappeared. Let me know if y'all saw that. I don't know what just happened, but yeah, Von Chapman just kind of wrapped it up for me. If you don't own nothing, you don't got nothing.
Hope Berkshire ain't messing with us.
Ooh.
Rose Review says, reminded me of Boogie Nights. Got to keep on dancing.
Hey.
Marianne Williams in the house. How you doing? Says it feels like we're using the word affordable for all apartment buildings. Mm-hmm.
Hence the
regardless of how high the rent is, they're seen as affordable compared to a house, and that may be true, but $1,500 a month rent is not affordable for many people.
And we're talking about for a 1 and 2 bedroom house or apartment.
Very, very true. Tonight Patterson in the house. How you doing? Says that new phase on the east side of 30th won't be ready until the spring. There's a wait list, of course. Already. That's incredible.
The new phase on the east side of 30th. I'm trying to picture where in my mind where that is.
Yeah. Not sure. Bond Chapman says, follow the money, connect the dots. That's what we here doing. Like Dynamite, y'all was speaking facts and they didn't like it.
Hold up. Pull the plug.
And Sean was like, let me just
press the button
down some. There you go. Yeah, so Brenshaw is a company we need to look into. I'm getting a message here about another connection with Brenshaw. So Brenshaw seems like something we need to look very deeply into. When people say that you know the Buffetts are not are trying to buy up things in North Omaha, and you know, then you get a company that we don't know what the parent company of that company is, finding out that it has to do with the Buffetts. Interesting stuff. How much did the Highlander project have to do with outside funding that way?
The Highlander is a Brenshaw project.
Interesting. Okay, so they and there's a bunch of other stuff going on 30th too that I think is a trip. That there's like what's that school up there? They put something up there like next to like Martin Luther King. I can't even tell you what it is. It's right across the street from the park. Anyway, yeah, over there where the stage was, right? They're the ones that bought out the stage and they put some kind of school or something over there.
Yeah, that's the learning centers.
Yeah. So all up and down the street, all up and down 30th is feeling real.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, the learning centers are also backed by the Buffetts. And there's been a few chat chimers who's been kind of vocal about how these learning centers are impacting our local daycare centers and family-based daycare centers and home-based child care centers.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Tonight Patterson says off like 28th and 29th Park are also new management companies. They're taking over throughout the city, and their complexes stopped taking Section 8 HUD affordable housing list dwindling. Wanda Lewis says early childhood learning center. Yep. Whole nother chapter there talking about those childhood learning centers. But it's interesting that there's that major one on 30th Street, you know, kind of down the street from the Highlander and these new apartment complexes coming. So anyway, lots to be said on this one for absolutely sure. It looks like it's already 7:43 if you believe in the concept of time. We've been talking about this one for a minute, and it sounds like something that we'll continue to talk about. In the meantime, let's switch to some other stories, and you can always continue the chat and also drop your comments in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page as well on this. We'll talk about it again.
Yes. But let's keep it moving and stick with our backyard, talking about Omaha and the local government. Let's switch to these these charter changes, man. This whole conversation surrounding Gene Stother's proposal to change the city charter, to allow the mayor to run things while out of town, which of course has drawn a lot of question and criticism as to why she's asking for that, and also people just wondering how long has the mayor been gone. As currently stated, the remote work mayor currently has to transfer power to City Council President Pete Festerson when either he or she leaves the state. So again, in any instance where Mayor Gene Stother leaves the state for an extended period of time, the mayoral powers are then transferred to City Council President Pete Festerson. However, Mayor Stother said that there wasn't one decision that was made while I've ever been out of town that was critical that the city council president had to make. But after examining the mayor's records, according to KETV, Mayor Stother has spent a total of 84 days away from Omaha since July 2021. Again, that's 84 days since July of 2021. If I'm not mistaken, it's only about 360 something days in the year. So it's quite substantial if we're talking about over the course of 1 year. And over that time, these are some of the events and happenings that the mayor has missed and just not been present for. Bueller. In the days that she was absent, the mayor has missed the fire that burned the Knox Creek chemical plant. That was a big one. An ordinance on city health director, if you remember that, Lindsay Hughes losing some power, if I'm not mistaken. The December derecho that ripped through the Midwest and still kind of impacting crops and our food supply. Also, a state attorney general investigation that found 43 clergy members from Omaha had possibly abused victims in the Catholic Church. Mayor Stothert was gone for that. And also a flash flood that washed out cars in the old market. If you remember, there was that video of that group of people almost getting trapped in that elevator in the old market. Also, if you remember, I've been very vocal about the Omaha's lack of flood mitigation plans. I mean, if the mayor's not here for some of the worst floods, then she probably wouldn't be thinking about flood mitigation. But of course, Mayor Stothert has clapped back, saying whether I'm on business travel or personal travel, it's the same. I can still make decisions. I still understand how to be mayor, and it doesn't matter whether I'm at my desk or sitting on my phone, as I'm right now in Cincinnati visiting my son, Mayor Stothert said. The deputy city attorney told KETV that elected officials don't accrue or use vacation, annual, or sick leave. So she's always on the clock. So yeah, I again, Miss Wanda Lewis kind of echoing my sentiments, saying she's been gone 1/4 of the past year. Yeah, 25% of the time she's not here.
Right. Kimber Snipe says, if I had one and missed 84 days, they would have ran me out. Her privilege, excuse me, her privilege and some of her lack of standing up got her thinking she can do what she wants, when she wants, how she wants. Third term, they got her in for a third term, which is historical. There's nobody else has ever been voted in 3 times this way. Man. And it does seem like she's like, well, I can do what I want. Feels like it. Wanda Lewis says she came home for the Juneteenth parade. Pop says, yes, she was gone for nearly 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So a fourth of the past year. That's pretty crazy. Conteri Human Petrol says, sounds like time to retire. Yeah, sounds like she wants to get into some other things, get into some to life. That's cool. Go see your husband, go see your kid, all that good stuff might be time to make that important. And I'll play devil's advocate with that too. I definitely am a advocate of working remotely in whatever job that I'm at, and I don't even take the job unless I can be somewhere else still handling the business. But I think maybe the mayorship has a little bit more hands on deck needed than the kind of jobs I take, and so kind of seems like you probably ought to be here to make some of these kinds of decisions and meet with your constituents more, see what's going on, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely of that same thought pattern with you. Like, yeah, we just got back from California, would love to take more trips. I mean, it's working remotely is definitely a thing, but you also don't see us running for mayor.
Yeah. Von Chapman says getting fired on your unauthorized days off seems appropriate. Their election of duty. Yep. Wanda Lewis says her daughter lives here and works for Union Pacific. Interesting. Yeah. Kimber says this ain't a typical job. This is mayor, right?
That's what I'm saying. You don't see us running for that because I'm trying to travel. But yeah. And also furthermore, keep in mind that when she's according to state statute, or not state statute, but the city charter, when she's not there, who's running the city? Pete Festerson.
Oh,
is that what we want?
Festerson's cool. I'd rather him do it than her all day.
Again, is that what we want? That is the fight, because if Mayor Jean Stothert has her way, then that is not the case.
Interesting.
I will point out that the city council and charter committee is fighting this. They're not really budging on this. City Council President Pete Festerson says, so the City Council doesn't agree with the substance of the proposal that was sent to us by the Charter Convention, but we very much appreciate the work of the convention. So again, in the nicest, most political way possible, saying thank you, but no thank you.
Marianne Williams said she may as well have said it doesn't matter if I'm at my desk or away on my phone. Someone else is all the decisions for me anyway, making all the decisions for me anyway. Continue here. Oh, they're talking to each other. Yeah, it's interesting. They Pop says sounds like she had mentally checked out already. Yeah, Pops. There was a series of things that happened, and if you've been listening for a while, so you may already know this. But like her husband, a very prominent doctor in the area, passed away, and we had been talking about her and calling her Mean Gene and stuff all the way up until that happened, and then had to pause on all that because we're human, and you got somebody, your husband passes away like that, then we're like, wow, sorry for that, sorry for your loss. But then after that, it just things seem a little bit strange, and it could be what Pops is saying, where she is mentally checked out already. We watched closely on what she said about the incident. People were sending her gifts, and she said, "Don't send me stuff. Fund the police. Send the police department funds in lieu of that. In lieu of your gifts because of my loss." And was it a year later, less than a year later, she reconnected with another doctor that she dated years ago, and I guess they got married. She's been and haven't really, and now that I think about it, over this past year, we haven't heard much from her.
It's because she hasn't been here.
It really is. I'm looking at hindsight, she's been a little absent, and I can't blame her for, she's on her third term, coasting a little bit, maybe, and a whole lot of personal things happening is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's yeah, I hear you, but my mind is going to, I mean, if she's missed 84 days over the last year, what is the last 3 terms been like?
I don't well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
What is the entirety of her service? What has that been like?
And now that you say that Festerson is the one like making decisions when she's not around, he's a competent cat. So it feels like maybe she, she's got a team that's making the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just saying, follow the money, follow the power. Who's running the city?
That's the question. In the chat, Precious McKesson, good morning to you. Says that bad storm came through and the community stepped up and was feeding the community for at least a week. Up further than that, she says Jean checked out when she left the folks in the community literally in the dark, and she was at the country club at the national golf event.
Oh yeah, remember they had that power outage and the north side was out for like 2 weeks.
Right. They got theirs on the same day. Right. Also, let's see. Wanda Lewis has 14 months, and she said that they've always been friends. Right. Okay. Talking about the new husband,
the
new beau. Kimra Snipe says that and ain't making excuses for it. Bump that. Empathy votes, maybe. Wanda Lewis. I hear you. I hear you. Very good questions. Alicia Strange in the house. How you doing, sweet? She says, I love y'all. Good morning, sunshine. Have a great Friday. Appreciate that. Also, let's see. She didn't start a COVID task force until she found out that someone else had started one. Interesting. So we're going through some of the things. Precious says, I don't care about her personal life. She has a job to do in mayor, and as mayor, she needs to be here. Yeah. True. I'm with you on that, Precious. I'm the kind of manager and owner and boss and owner of businesses that don't want to hear you come in and tell me why you can't show up. It's none of my business. I don't want to hear the excuse. Can you be here or not? Is where I stand on stuff. So like, we're all grown here. Don't give me, don't bring no note from your mama telling me why you can't show up. Just can you show up or not? I don't need to know your personal business. and so on. But I so happen to know her personal business because her personal business is all in the news.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally.
I mean, even beyond that, though, to Precious's point, like looking at the events that she missed in the time,
Right.
you know, that she was not here, I'm kind of looking at them, and they were all events that were handled very questionably. And I just tend to think if the mayor was here, could that have been handled differently? Like, remember all the hoopla surrounding the Knox chemical fire?
True. But like I said, now that you said that Pete Festerson is the one that usually is running things when she's not here, I want to go back and look at some of them decisions, because off the top of my head, I feel like I trust Pete more than I trust her. So was it better that she was gone? Precious says, when I say personal life, I mean who she's married to now. I don't know why they reported it. It was distasteful. Yeah. Well,
I can see that.
I can see that too. Yeah, I agree. But I think everybody is feeling a little bit like what Pop said earlier. Like she's kind of checked out. So everybody's always looking for these little reasons why she checked out. And it's like, well, you know, death of your first husband. You got married quickly after that. Your kid live. You got kids that live out of state. You're going through what you're going through. You know. Anyway, like you're right. That's none of that really matters as far as like her personal life is concerned. But it just is just a testament to the fact that she's, you know, it's like when you want to try to find a reason behind the fact that she's not been in it for 84 days. You're like, well, what's going on? Pop says she sounds to me like someone who has checked out mentally and emotionally and is going through the motions. Could be just burnout from 3 terms, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is. Like what I want to know, what I want to see now is like the times that she was gone and Festerson stepped up and made some decisions. What happened then? That's what I really want to know next. And also I want to know who's running for mayor next. Have we talked about that yet?
Hello.
I mean, we are following the money this season, but it was the ballot of the bullet just a couple seasons ago. We still would like to know. Yeah. Anybody like anybody for mayor next? 7:57 right now in Omaha, Nebraska. If you believe in the concept of time, Von Chapman says her extended honeymoon is not an excuse. Very true. Kimmer Snipe says we all go through it. My son's father was murdered while I was running. My goodness.
There you go.
Whitney Richardson in the house. How you doing? Says this is good info for whoever runs against her next. There you go. I know it's early, but maybe not too early to start momentum for whoever the people want next. That's where I'm going, Whitney, for sure. Like, who do you like? Who do you like next to run against Mean Gene? Wanda Lewis says that she has one offspring that live out of state. Okay, who's me? Oh, okay.
So you talk about a rerun? Is that what the me is about?
Come on, Kimmer. Let's go then. Let's do it.
Talking about a rerun.
I like it. Tamika Johnson in the house. How you doing? On YouTube over here says that woman is just mean. I can't only imagine the type of nurse she was. Woo, she's a ratchet. She's probably Nurse Ratchet. Black Dynamite says I thought Buddy was trying to get Miss Keisha for mayor of Omaha.
Oh. Well, all she got to do was live in Omaha for 6 months. We might can make it happen.
Come on, Keisha. Kimmer says me. Well, come on. Okay. Well, there you go. All right.
Hey, like we support it, man. We support it.
That's really real. Let's take a quick break. 1 minute before 8 o'clock in Omaha, Nebraska. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the Covoid. Man, it's going down. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, y'all. Yeah. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you, the chat chimers, all of you, the ghost listeners, thanks for joining us. It's really amazing every time we talk to anybody out on the street, we find out they're listening. They're like, yeah, I'll listen. I'm a ghost listener, but I listen. And I'm tripping. So it's like a good reminder that sometimes we get caught up in thinking we just talking to ourselves around here, but we're not just talking to ourselves. We're talking to all of you, including the chat chimers and the ghost listeners, and we appreciate all of y'all. Really, an extreme amount of appreciation here.
Yeah.
Marianne Williams is cracking me up. Says, "Who wants a job that only gives you 84 days off a year? I'll take it. I'll take it." Juan Lewis says, "They're changing. You have to live in the city for a year in order to become mayor." So,
yeah,
Snipe,
they are changing.
I think you qualify.
Yeah, I think so.
Pop says, "More musical crack. One of my favorite tracks."
Yeah, man.
You got bars too, don't you, Bob?
Yeah, I like that.
That's what's up. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Excuse me. I am, for those of you that don't know, I am down with COVID. I finally caught it.
No, we're not down with COVID. COVID is a sucker MC.
COVID is a sucker MC for real. I'm not appreciating COVID at all. And I appreciate a lot of things, not appreciating that. But yes, finally caught it after 3 years that has been going on. It's the price I have to pay for going into public spaces while we still got a pandemic going on. But at least I didn't catch the Mpox.
Man.
Bro. Of course, they're saying monkeypox right now is really a sexually transmitted disease more than anything else. But
I don't know, man. I'm hearing kids get it. I doubt the kids are out here doing that, man.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it's like, make it make sense, please.
I mean, to me, it's like AIDS all over again in a lot of ways.
Please break that down. We had a very interesting conversation about that.
Yeah. So there's a virus going around, and the first instances of these viruses are happening in like gay communities because of mostly gay communities. They're trying to say that this is like a gay disease. So right there, I was like, where have I heard that before? Well, I'm old enough to have gone through the whole AIDS thing where they were trying to like, it's just it's the gay disease to have AIDS, until straight people started getting it. And then they realized it was something else, and they realized it was something that could be detrimental to everybody. And it wasn't just that. So what I'm hearing though is that they're finally like they started that mess again, like this is a gay disease type of thing, but more quickly than they did with AIDS, are finding out that there's more to it. Skin on skin transmission, like Chelsea is saying. It's not sexually transmitted. It's skin on skin. So, it's not like you got to be having sex to have it, but there are a lot of gay men that have caught it, and their first diagnosis was it does have to do with like having sex, but that's like everybody's saying right now, it's skin on skin is what it really is. We just came from California, and it was all on the news. Man. They ran out of monkeypox vaccine, and there was lines around the corner to try to get it. And they're trying to. We were in San Francisco too, bro, and they were like, we've teamed up with all these different organizations so we can get all these gay men some vaccines." So they were going nuts with it, but it ended up that they have a state of emergency going on in California right now because of monkeypox.
And it's not just California. Now being reported by NPR, this is a nationwide thing, and kind of connecting the story we were just talking about with the Omaha Mayor Jean Stauther and her absence from the city, and you kind of look at how COVID was handled. It was kind of rocky early on. Actually, a lot of disagreement between Douglas County Director and the city, and actually led to the former director leaving.
Right.
Just like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. So I'm definitely looking at Mayor Stauther and how she will handle this latest declaration by the White House, which today declared monkeypox a public health emergency. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra said to reporters during a briefing on Thursday, "We are prepared to take our response to the next level in addressing this virus, and we urge every American to take monkeypox seriously. A public health emergency can trigger grant funding and open up more resources for various aspects of a federal response, similar to what we saw with COVID. It also allows the secretary to enter into contracts for treatments and other necessary medical supplies and equipment, as well as support emergency hospital services, among other things. This kind of health emergency designation is what led to, as you see with the COVID vaccines, which are still approved only for emergency use. These aren't fully approved vaccines. But again, this emergency declaration opens the channel or avenues for those types of activities. Public health emergencies do last for 90 days, but can be extended by the secretary. Also, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said the declaration will provide resources and increase access to care. She also said it will expand the CDC's ability to share data. Of course, some have been calling for a federal public health emergency, saying it will signal to the country that this is a serious outbreak and something that should be handled as such. Actually, at this point, there has been officially 6,616 cases detected in the U.S., but that is likely an undercount. Most cases in the U.S. are concentrated in the gay and queer community, according to this article, primarily among men who have sex with men. So I actually, as I'm reading this article, I want to strike that. I want to, kind of correct this article and edit it as we're reading through it, because as we just express and just discuss in the chat, it's not the most responsible representation.
So are they saying that that's the most of the people that have been affected are gay men, or are they saying this is a read that line again?
Again, it's very, very broad. It says most cases in the U.S. are concentrated in the gay and queer community, primarily among men who have sex with men. How they know that, I don't know. How they can prove that, I don't know.
Okay,
that's
so
why I wanted to strike it.
So this is why I love this show, because right off the bat, we got people in the chat that know what's up. Chelsea says it's a skin-to-skin transmission. Christy North says, no, it's not sexually transmitted. Please don't feed that narrative. Stacey Jean says, not necessarily a sexually transmitted personal contact that could be hugging and shaking hands, because we're talking about skin on skin here. Marianne Williams says it is not a sexually transmitted disease. It's fluid swapping and even respiratory droplets in the air. Von Chapman says, are all these new diseases created in test tubes? Very good question. Marianne Williams says that you can get COVID by having sex with someone who has COVID too. We're not calling COVID an STD. Very true. So, I'm encouraged by the fact that they have declared this what's the declaration again? They've declared this a
public health emergency.
Public health emergency. So a public health emergency, they didn't give AIDS that status for a long time because they were like, this is a gay disease. So if they're making it a public health emergency now, they're saying they're acknowledging that this is a disease that anybody can have, the public can get, and it can run rampant in the public, and not just in these communities that they were talking about. They tried to start that mess, but people like you guys in the chat here have shut them down on all that mess with this is just a gay man's disease or whatever. Now, it is true that the majority of people in California have been gay men, but they don't know if, again, it's not just, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's because they were having sex. It could mean anything because it's skin on skin, shaking hands, giving hugs, anything, like they say. So, so here we are trying to get whatever we got to get straight, and we got to get it straight because of that very reason, because we're susceptible to it. They're saying that now everybody is. It's an emergency, and we need to be watching it now. And so now that we can try to jump on a better narrative, how do we prevent ourselves from catching it? What's the safety protocols here for not catching monkeypox? Because it ain't just don't be gay, don't have sex. Like it's something else. It's other stuff. Like what else? What really do we need to do to not spread monkeypox? Marianne Williams says other articles say it's gone underreported and misdiagnosed, which is what happens when you come out the gate saying it's an STD that only affects gay men. Like I said, we've been through this before, man. A lot of us on this channel are old enough to remember how they did people with AIDS. That lasted for a minute. It took like major movie stars to come out and be like, I got it, in order for them to finally turn that around. So Wanda Lewis said because that's their area of focus, right? So again, the next steps for me is like, well, let's act like we all can get it. How do we stop that? What do we need to actually do to not get it?
Well, the Biden administration is taking a similar approach that they had to COVID in regards to the pushing of vaccines. The focus for the Biden administration to the outbreak has been to vaccinate those at high risk of contracting the disease. As you mentioned earlier, Paul, there's already been instances where lines are piling up around buildings at vaccination sites for this very thing, and of course, it is being promoted and pushed on certain demographics. But as we're discussing now, it's not necessarily the best approach. However, critics say vaccine availability has been limited and slow to come online. The administration says it has made more than 1 million doses of the Jynneos vaccine available to states and territories to order. And at this point, governors in California, New York, and Illinois have already declared state of emergencies in response to the monkeypox outbreak. Some cities, including New York City and, as we just left, San Francisco, have also made their own emergency declarations. The World Health Organization has already declared the monkeypox outbreak a public health emergency of international concern, where there are currently more than 26,000 cases worldwide.
Crazy. Marianne Williams says, here's the preventative from CDC. She put the chat, the link in the chat. Go to the CDC and figure out how you can prevent that. So here's my comment on that. What you just read. If they're pushing vaccines, there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that. There's a problem with the first of all the limited number of vaccines, and there's a problem with who qualifies. If they're only giving it to people who are most at risk. So this is the reason why this is such a bad thing to try to act like this is just a gay man's disease. My friend Portia Janae has a channel, and I encourage you guys to go check her out. She had the whole breakdown in California of who qualifies to get the vaccine. And it was gay men who are sexually active. You had to be gay to get the vaccine.
Yeah, New York too.
That's the problem with New York too. So that's the problem with them trying to act like what they're trying to act like. So the fact that they're saying this is a public health emergency is a encouraging step forward, because now more people than just gay men can get the vaccine. Like Wanda Lewis said, everyone is at risk. But this is the one of the big problems with them trying to push this narrative. She can talk about it way more eloquently than I can. I'm gonna put her link tree in the chat if you want to check her out. Her name is Portia Janae, and she had a lot to say about it. And you can check her out on several different kinds of platforms. But yeah, she broke it down really thoroughly, like why this is so dangerous for you to be trying to act like this is one kind of disease. It's not just that they won't throw resources or money at it, but until a whole lot of other people catch it, but also who they're even trying to treat right now. Like back in the AIDS days, they wouldn't even treat gay men. And in the beginning they were just letting them die. So and here we are now with that narrative, and they're trying to act like this is. And so now a lot of more people might catch it and be hurt by it, because they don't qualify to have the vaccine, because they're trying to act like this is just a gay man's disease. So it's messed up. Sean McCarthy says apparently the vaccine is like COVID, a 2-dose vaccine. Sean McCarthy also put in health departments, Douglas County health departments on monkeypox. That's a good one to hit too, so we can find out if there's a spread locally. Marianne Williams says England has approved the smallpox vaccine for mpox. Hopefully that works out. A smallpox vaccine.
Okay.
Interesting. Sean McCarthy says 6 confirmed cases in Douglas County so far. One thing about monkeypox is you can see it coming. If you guys haven't seen the pictures of what happens to you with monkeypox, you need to go check it out. Huge welts all over your body. So it ain't like COVID where you don't know who got it. You can probably stay far away from people that have it, and they're staying away on their own, I'm quite sure. So, but yeah, it's something that we got to talk about now, unfortunately, because of the fact that is kind of people are getting a little worried about it. I've been getting instant messages and stuff, or private messages and stuff, for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Hey, you're gonna be traveling, you better watch out.
Yeah.
Type
And
of thing.
apparently, new data from Africa suggests that children younger than 8 may be especially at risk for more severe disease. Again, there has been, as of 2 days ago, a 5th child in the United States that has tested positive for monkeypox. So, yeah, again, the notion that this is a STD, and they're even going as far as testing how this can be transmitted through semen specimens. I mean, come on, man, come on.
Yeah, get it together.
Please make it make sense. Right. Get it together. Got to get together for brothers. Get together for sisters.
There you go. Ronald Lewis says it's sad that it's said that polio is on the rise again too. So I know
Funny you say that. The Griot reports that polio fears rise in New York amid possible community spread. Yes, not only monkeypox rocking the community of New York, but polio apparently is another concern. This coming out of Albany, New York, through the Associated Press. New York State health officials issued a more urgent call Thursday for unvaccinated children and adults to get inoculated against polio, citing new evidence of possible community spread, quote unquote, of the dangerous virus. The polio virus has now been found in 7 different wastewater samples in 2 adjacent counties north of New York City. So, man, somehow find its way in the water supply. So far, only 1 person has tested positive for polio, an unvaccinated adult in Rockland County who suffered paralysis. But based on earlier polio outbreaks, the state's health commissioner, Dr. Mary T. Bassett, says New Yorkers should know that for every 1 case of paralytic polio observed, there may be hundreds of other people infected. So, you might just want to, stay clear of New York right now.
Man, Pops, I be thinking about Pops. Pops don't go nowhere, and I'm like, you know what? The more I be seeing about stuff, I'm like, I'm staying in the house too, Pops.
Man.
Get you a house with some yard. You can go outside, put your kids outside in the yard every once in a while, and yeah, make your house a home. Because it's getting crazy out here. Like I said, we ain't done with COVID, but I got COVID right now. We've been 3 years in trying to avoid that mess.
Now we got more.
Tanaya Patterson says, I think COVID made immune systems more sensitive and vulnerable to new viruses never come into contact with before. Maybe. Hey, you know what I did read about COVID? They did kind of track it back to a meat market in China, where they actually have some actual scientific physical evidence now that it started with humans' interactions with animals in this area, and this is something I've been saying for a long time too. It's gonna be bird flu. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna come up, and it's gonna keep coming up because we haven't changed any way that we do things. There's nothing different happening now. We'll just be coming up with different variations of viruses and things like that. It'll just keep continuing on. Ceci Eugene said it found its way or was put in the water supply. This all smells like population control. And
I kind of
not even talking about
crossed my mind.
Yeah. We're not even talking about that part yet. About, like Von Chapman was saying, this stuff even being made in test tubes. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it accidents that are happening that scientists are saying, hey, we might be able to use this and go back and develop some stuff? Just never know. Marianne Williams says polio just pisses me off. We've had it beat for decades, but then we've had the anti-vax movement that actually started well before COVID. A lot of people are saying that about the anti-vax movement. People that are like, I'm not getting vaccinated for nothing, and now we got old diseases like polio coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on the other side of that, man, it does not necessarily the case that the vaccines are helping. They could be hurting, like was suggested earlier in the chat about your immune system being weakened by things, and now just anything can jump on you. So it's hard to know. You got to decide for your own personal self what it is that will make you feel safe and do what you can do, but also listening to what's going on around you, but also it's down to your own personal decision. Marianne Williams says it's not in the water supply, it's in the wastewater, which is tested for disease.
Thank you for that clarification.
There you go. Pop says, I hear you, son. Abstinence prevents pregnancy and staying at home prevent being infected by viruses.
Hey.
I'm going to abstain from going outside.
There you go.
We're moving right along here. 8:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. Thanks for joining us. We'll have an extensive Happs coming up. Get your Happs ready. You know it's Friday, so we want to hear what's going on this weekend with you. And we'll also have some things to talk about as far as the weekend is coming up. Happs coming up soon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break. Don't you touch nothing. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd.
I almost said it. Hey, just give me a shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Star Trek Rich. You know, for those of you that are just joining us and don't know what's going on, we have decided that we're going to do some different kind of work with Weberized Studios. We're going to get with them on some other kinds of things, and we're going to start doing the show from different places. So I'm in the void right now, the co-void, because I'm down with COVID. And also Buddy is over there in Atlanta. We did a show. We started this whole thing off doing a show together in California, in Concord. And I know that you guys gonna get on me and Concord.
It's Concord,
cuz, but you guys want me to call it Concord. I don't know about the herd on it. I don't know about the herd.
Yeah.
But I'll call it what you say it is. It's not my hometown or nothing. But yeah, we spent some time out there and we did a show live from the hotel room there. And we're gonna start doing some of that kind of stuff because we're hitting different places. I would like to do some stuff in Omaha where I can come and go over to places like the Culture House, show what's going on there, sit there with my CAs, kind of do the show from different spots in town so you guys can see what we're talking about. Excuse me, because we know we got a lot of people that are staying in the house in Omaha because they're smart with all these things going on. But we got a lot of people outside of Omaha that's checking us out and listening to us too. And would like to see some of these places we talk about: Culture House, Benson Theater, so on and so forth. So we'll be hopping around doing the show from different spots and continuing on the conversation with you all. That's what this is all about. So it's gotta happen that way. Jumping into the chat real quick, lots of stuff going on. Judy Princess says, great discussion. Thank you very much, Judy. Appreciate you always for chiming in and being a part of this. Brooke says, good morning. Good morning to you, Brooke. Wanda Lewis says, a lot of transportation sources where people commute on rail cars, streetcars, buses are at risk. They can't clean after every passenger. Oof.
Good point.
That's rough. Somebody else talked about hotel rooms earlier too. Hotel room I was just at, they had a huge card in there that was like, hey, we have just disinfected and cleaned everything in here for you. They wanted to really make it clear that they they did that, but I came back with COVID anyway, so who knows? It could have been from the hotel room. Also, Kimmer Snipe says, I need to talk about this ARPA funding. My city council person and my county commissioner told me at my SONA meeting they're not even getting proper communication. Definitely will go in and talk on that. Greg Gonzalez gives us a good morning. First time listening. Hey, thank you. First time listener. Appreciate you, bro. Hope you're enjoying the conversation here, and we encourage you to put your thoughts down as well. This is the discussion, not just a show. So, thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Beth Davis Wilson, good morning to you. Says, "Oh, get off the conspiracies. It takes away from the real stuff happening. Anti-vaxxers need a kick in the pants. Polio has been held back because as kids we were given vaccines to stem the spread of polio, smallpox, and such. I had teachers that had polio kids. Heard their stories. We need to quit being such pampered babies and take one in the arm for everyone, and quit whining about our precious persons." I find that people of a certain generation feel that way. I know that the older folks got that polio, got that scar on their arm. I don't know what kind of administration they were using back then, but they administered something that put a distinct scar on your arm, and that was the polio vaccine. And they just gave it to kids, man. They didn't even tell you what was up. You was at school, boom, you got it. You went home. Your mom was like, "What happened to your arm?" "Well, you got a polio vaccine, I guess." So yeah, they have lived a life where they can see the effects of that, where polio disappeared at one point. So proven that according to them. Now the vaccines we're looking at now aren't the same. There's some differences with the vaccines, but also there's the scientific process is still there and is happening, and they're figuring things out, and so like Beth Davis Wilson said, you need to kind of check that out. I see where you're coming from on that. When it comes to a disease that could spread all over the place, we can't just think about what it is we personally want to do. We got to kind of think about the overall good as well. So makes sense to me. I'm gonna keep on going here in the chat just a minute. Miss E says, "Good morning. Sorry you're still feeling ill." Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling better than I was the other day. The fever broke day before yesterday, so I feel a lot better now. But still, ain't no joke. This feels like a bad sinus infection with a stomach ache and body ache still. So that's what I'm going through. Beth Davis Will says, "You got me in the morning on my rant on Friday." That's all right. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, speak your mind. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Everyone has a part in the conversation. And I'll be candid, man, on the whole vaccine situation. Like we keep saying, you can't be sure. There's no way to be sure either way. And I'm not vaccinated. I'll be honest. Paul is. Paul's the one who came back with COVID. I find that very interesting. You just gotta be vigilant, take care of yourself, do what you can. If you feel sick, stay away from people. Be considerate of others. Just don't be out here willy-nilly inconsiderate. But I'm not one to, condemn people for not getting vaccinated or getting vaccinated.
That's my point too. And we can look at it a couple different ways too. Because if I hadn't been vaccinated, I'd have been in a situation where I'd been really in trouble. Because remember, we have people in our community, like Carlos Tibbs and his mom, for instance, passed away from it. Yes. And when that happened, we started to find out that there's people that have kind of pre-existing conditions and they're prone to infections, and they have other kinds of health issues like being overweight, like me. You know what I'm saying? Those are some of the things that really lend towards that. So if I hadn't been I feel like if I hadn't been vaccinated and boosted, I would have been in real trouble catching it. So, but at the same time, I don't know 100% either. It could have been that I'm more prone to catch it because I have the vaccine. Who really, that's what I'm saying. You really got to kind of do your own research and figure it out for yourself as best you can.
Right. And I would think, speaking of the comorbidities, I think is what they're calling it. Like you're somebody who is always dealing with sinus issues and sinus infections and I don't have that problem.
Lung stuff.
So if I had sinus issues, I probably would think about this differently. If I had asthma, I probably would think about this differently, but I don't.
And I waited a long time to get it too. But what changed me over was the fact that my nephew has a tendency to get sinus infections and stuff like that too. Didn't want him to catch it. If I'm gonna hang around the fam, I'm gonna have to do that. So that was a determining factor. There's all kinds of different factors that go, but the biggest one is time. Now that we've been in COVID for like 3 years, we can see some of the effects of some of these things that have happened with Miss Erica Felt has a insane story about somebody, about her a person close to her that got all kinds of sick because of it, on dialysis and everything now. So and he was I can't remember if he was or wasn't vaccinated. I'm not quite sure. But the point is that we're seeing some of these things over time that are proving some things to us, and it's, we just gotta, I mean, all we can keep doing is keep studying and paying attention to what's going on. Brooke is one of the ones that hit me about this. She says, I saw a video of a girl who had monkeypox, and she said she got it from handling money.
I mean, that was the same for COVID. There was actually some businesses that wouldn't allow cash purchases.
Right. Precious said the polio vaccine I took in 96 was oral. I didn't know they were giving polio vaccines all the way up to 96. Interesting. Beth Davis Wilson says pandemic changes stuff. Very true.
Definitely.
Marianne Williams says monkeypox can live on anything like money, chairs, etc. Lord Jesus.
Lord of mercy.
Lord of mercy. Tanaya Patterson says black people didn't really have access to vaccines back in the day like that. Polio was mitigated through good hygiene as it always had been. Interesting.
Okay,
that's
news to me.
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, it's news to me too. But I tell you, I'm glad she brought it up, because every single thing that we are talking about has to do, or it has to be fought with hygiene. Has to be fought with not coughing in people's faces, not getting coughed on, washing your hands. You touch a doorknob that's got something on it, you got to wash your hands before you touch your face. All these things are also part of all the cures on top of the vaccines all the time. Not having distance between you and other people for some of the airborne stuff. Beth Davis Wilson says monkeypox has been around. The vaccine has been around. It's real. It's serious. I was very interested in the fact that the vaccine became available right away. I was like, I thought monkeypox was brand new. They already made a vaccine for it. Well, apparently monkeypox has been around.
Yeah.
Monkey and I want to know why they call it monkeypox. I'm trying
I wasn't gonna touch that. I wasn't. I'm from what I'm reading, it might have derived in Africa. It's saying Central and West Africa. I'll be honest. I feel a little way about that. I'll be honest. I wasn't gonna touch it, but since you said something, Paul.
Well, and I wasn't even thinking on that level. I was thinking on the level of bird flu and the you know what I'm saying? Like everything has to do with a virus jumping from an animal to a person. Is this another one? Precious McKesson says, I remember when OPS went through all the student records and they pulled students out of school in UNMC had a big vax clinic at the West Rose Mall in order for us to return to.
I think she's saying school.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. So yeah, that's and do you remember like the parents being involved with that and getting permission slips or anything, or they just pulled y'all out and gave you vaccines?
Did you have the option to decline?
Miss E says there's a far better science now than there was in polio vaccine days. I missed the SCAR shot by just 2 years. Most of my friends have that mark. My rabbi in his 70s and has a bad leg from polio. Yeah, man. Yeah, people be trying to act like you watch Forrest Gump and you know you could just put some braces on your legs and then grow out of polio. But polio used to jack people up.
Yeah, man.
In a big way. Judy Prince says maybe no more sex. Okay. Stacey Jean says, yeah, and wastewater goes where lakes, rivers, which supposedly goes through water treatment plants, becomes drinking water.
And that was kind of my thought too. Like it eventually gets processed.
Well, here's the other thing. We've been hearing a lot about flesh-eating diseases and all kinds of stuff going on in bodies of water where people have gotten into bacteria and all kinds of stuff. People getting into the water at lakes and places like that and coming out with stuff.
Flint.
So, and then we just talk about the water supply that you're drinking as well. Like, yeah, this is something in the water. Something in the water.
Something in the water.
We can go on for days on this, man. There's so much. Precious says I have COVID twice, and my second bout felt like I had a major cold. But my first bout, I don't wish on anyone. Okay, so there you go, people. And were you vaccinated and boosted and stuff like that when you had that, Precious? Miss E says my son's father was not vaccinated, and in January, COVID put him in probably this hospital. She was going to say he now has dialysis 3 times a week due to COVID damage and could not work. He had no pre-existing conditions. He was not overweight, never smoked. Beth Davis Will says, wash them hands.
Yeah, man.
We ain't talking about applause.
Nah, that's exactly what I mean by be vigilant.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody who's chiming in the chat, man. I can't even keep up with everything that's going on here.
Yeah, chat kind of blew up, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we really do. Really kind of blew up in a big way. So thanks for that. And then we'll go back and read these again and check them out because this is where I get a lot of. I'll be honest, I get a lot of my information from the stuff that we talk about and stuff that you guys present in the chat. And I go back and look at stuff and I'm like, yep, that's exactly what's going on there. So it is what it is. So in the meantime, between time 8:35, 8:36 right now in Omaha, Nebraska. If you believe in the concept of time, what you thinking, buddy?
Man, let's go ahead and switch gears. We got a couple heavy ones before we jump into these Happs that I definitely want to touch on as we switch a little bit. So again, a big shout out to everybody who chimed into the chat, offered their opinions and thoughts and information that they have on this whole conversation, man. That's why we love this show. And when you really think about it, there's no real other medium or we can have this type of experience. I mean, TV, radio, newspaper, I mean, however else you get information, there's no real way to have a real-time conversation. So I appreciate everyone for being a part of this experience. So yeah, man, let's move on, pivoting a little bit into our final.
I'm sorry. I just want to give acknowledge Precious. She says, anything you need, I'd love to get your care package. Precious, you're all right with me. I appreciate you.
All right. Yeah. Get well soon.
Thank you.
But yes, as we just have about 20 minutes left in the show, let's try to get through these last stories and saving I'm not gonna say the best, but these are some heavy ones and some I'm expecting good conversation from this. And actually, Paul, you kind of called this next story. Feds have charged 4 police officers in the fatal Breonna Taylor shooting and raid. The federal government has filed civil rights charges just yesterday against 4 Louisville police officers over the drug raid that led to the death of Breonna Taylor, the young woman whose fatal shooting helped fuel racial justice protests that rocked the nation in 2020. Her alongside George Floyd, those stories mainly charged what we are now calling Freedom Summer. And now, as in the case of George Floyd, the officers are being charged, and the charges are yet another effort to hold law enforcement accountable for the killing of the 26-year-old medical worker after one of the officers was acquitted of state charges earlier this year. Attorney General Merrick Garland said in an announcement, Breonna Taylor should be alive today. The charges named former officers Joshua and Brent, I don't even want to use their full name, along with current officers. Most of the charges stem from the fatal drug warrant, from the faulty drug warrant used to search Taylor's home. And one of the officers was actually the only officer charged Thursday, who was the one at the scene that night. Louisville police said that they are seeking to fire 2 of the officers. Taylor was shot to death by officers who knocked down her door while executing a search warrant. Taylor's boyfriend fired a shot that hit one of the officers as they came through the door, and they returned fire, of course, striking Taylor multiple times. Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, says she has waited nearly 2.5 years for police to be held accountable, saying today's overdue, but it still hurts. She went on to say, "You are all learning today that we're not crazy." Ooh, that's a powerful, powerful statement. The Justice Department is also conducting their own non-criminal investigation of the Louisville Police Department as a whole, which is probing whether the department has a pattern of using excessive force and conducting unreasonable searches and seizures. Of course, the whole issue of no-knock warrants has been brought to the forefront as a result of this situation, and protesters who took the streets over months in Louisville were especially critical of specifically Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who presented only wanton endangerment charges against one of the officers for grand jury to consider in 2020. Members of that grand jury later came forward to complain that Cameron's office had steered them away from charges for the other officers involved in the raid. And we've kind of seen in our own community how these grand juries can kind of play out and be swayed. if you will.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this, Paul? Again, I know you kind of called it out as far as once you saw, first of all, being from California, seeing the Rodney King situation play out kind of in real time, and now fast forwarding to this, officers now being held accountable in the George Floyd situation. Are you still holding on to that sentiment that this is kind of a changing of the tide?
I think changing of the tide is too big of a statement. I think
Okay.
I think that we're going. This is like a fad. We're going through a little trend. The trend is cops are being arrested, held accountable for stuff, but they're not getting the full punishments that they need. No, I don't want to say punishments, but I don't think they're. I think there's way more. First of all, we're looking at only high profile things. Number one, and
Right.
like they said, who said it? Marianne Williams in the chat says it's so sad that the U.S. DOJ had to step in to get this done. She says I'm glad they did, and these cops are being held accountable. But yeah, so the Department of Justice has to step in to get this stuff even looked at. High, and this the most high profile cases out there. So the fact that I know that these things are still happening all the time everywhere, and cops in general are not being held accountable in general. There's a little trend going on right now about them being held accountable in high profile cases. They're sacrificing a couple cops here and there in order for the public to be like, see, we're doing something. So
Man, that's I have to agree with that perspective because it's still happening. It's still happening on a day-to-day basis. There's still article after article, of police using excessive force, shooting somebody,
bro, they
unreasonably.
still have qualified immunity.
That part.
So
That part.
until they get rid of that, then what's really happening with cops being held accountable? Really,
The shield is still the shield.
yeah, man. Oh, there
A
you go.
lot of
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and go to the checks. They're going off and they're
I
breaking
was
it
just
down.
saying that was what Mayor Sanchez was saying. No more qualified immunity. Like what really can happen if they what really can happen if they or if they still have qualified immunity. Like what's really going on with. I mean, think about how many policemen would be in court right now if this was really a thing where cops were getting held accountable. We're still looking at the highest profile cases where the DOJ is still having the DOJ has to do some special things the DOJ doesn't ever really do. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a fad. This is a little bit of a fad, but I wouldn't call it a changing of the tide at all. So just jumping into the chat here a little bit. We're kind of all over the place in the chat. They're kind of having all kinds of different conversations, which is cool. Cameron is running for Kentucky governor and is married to Mitch McConnell's granddaughter. Stacey Jean says, Wanda Lewis, exactly. That's why a lot of people I know only drink bottled water. Yeah, we're still talking about those things.
Water supplies.
Water supplies for sure. Let's see. Some Happs. Black Dynamite says, what happened with the young brother that got killed by the police in Minneapolis? That one seemingly fell by the wayside. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the one in Chicago where dude was shot like 16 times or something.
Yeah. How big
or no, 61 times.
Just recently. How big is the DOJ? How big is the Department of Justice? And how many of these kinds of things can they handle? There's shootings every day, multiple hundreds of shootings every day. So, until there's a system that happens on a local level where cops are getting held responsible for the things they do. I mean, we can take these little victories we want to, but like as far as I'm concerned, it's the high profile cases. The DOJ has to step in. I'm happy. I'm glad. I hope Breonna gets some justice. But
no, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. It is a lot more work to be done, and to that point, again, the Department of Justice is also again investigating the whole department. So not just this incident, not just these officers, but the whole department is being investigated for a pattern. So there's that's to show that there's more work. You take in consideration the story that just broke, I think, in North Carolina, of the whole police department quit when the city manager, they hired a sister as a city manager, and the whole police department quit. that lets you know that there's still corners of the country that we need cleaning. There's a lot of work still to be done.
Well,
So
it's the whole country, bro. It's the whole. I mean, we talk about the tactical 88s in the police department and everything right here in Nebraska. We talk about this stuff all the time. We talk about the culture, the blue line culture. You know, it's heavy. It's out there. They still have qualified immunity, and the only thing that's saving, the only thing that's being looked at here, the only thing that we can even say the reason why Breonna Taylor got even looked at is because she's a high profile case, because the media blew her up in a huge way, and I think they're throwing a couple cops under the bus, like, see, we're doing something, leave us alone. But they're not making no real change until qualified immunity goes away. Number one.
And I will point out that this report is just about charges, no convictions yet. So we will keep our eyes open.
For sure.
But just about 15 minutes left in the show. I would like to pivot from one high-profile case to another, talking about WNBA star Brittney Griner, who was just sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison on drug charges. And what was the charge? Again, the possession of a marijuana pen. Very minute amount of a marijuana pen, but enough to, again, get her 9 years in a Russian prison. She's actually been already serving time in prison. She and some of that time will go towards her sentence. But this is not the end of it. I have read into this, and this is more of a formality than anything. But before I get into the details, just quick thoughts, reactions.
From what I'm talking to everybody about, everybody's super mad that they're playing these political games with this woman's life.
Man,
super mad. And I don't blame them. I think it's ridiculous. So sick of people. Well, this is one of them ones I'm like, I'm so sick of people. Just
it reeks of political games. And I honestly, my thoughts, just to break down, okay, this as I said, this is a formality. There are efforts from the United States to make a transfer, a prisoner swap. They are asking to send Brittney Griner and another Paul Whelan, who's an American who's serving time in Russia for espionage. And the America is proposing to send Russian's arms dealer Victor Bout back to Russia in exchange for these two individuals. And my just instincts does sense that this is a political game of chess being played, and Brittney Griner's life is kind of in the middle. And I feel like Brittney Griner is a public figure, one of the most high-profile WNBA stars, and I do feel like this is just probably a means to get an American spy out of Russian prison, and this is all just another chapter in the whole back and forth hoopla between America and Russia. And the fact that this woman's life is hanging in the balance is disgusting.
It's also a thing. It's also a attitude with Russia about her being black, about her being gay.
That too.
From the people, my people that I got out there are saying it's still a thing. They still are everybody's anti-gay. They act like they act like they're criminals. So there's, there was, and then of course they want to try to show some right wing face of we're being hard on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So they're using all this ridiculous stuff, but really, like, everybody can see it down to the person who's just brushing past it can see that it's all political moves, and it's really infuriating. It's really messed up. Black Dynamite says, "Yo, so the question I have about the Brittney thing on Facebook: why are so many people laughing about it?"
I don't know. I haven't seen anybody laughing.
I didn't see that. Yeah, let us know what that's all about. Ceci Jean says, "I think she received bad advice to plead guilty."
Yeah, but a guilty plea was a requirement in this whole political, prisoner swap thing, which again is a whole political game of chess, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
Beth Davis Wilson says, "Lesson: don't take pot into Russia or don't go to Russia." I think it's the latter. As a matter of fact, my pops can tell you a personal story about don't go to Russia. because he almost got caught up in the same way for nothing as well. So like
Mm.
for less than what she getting caught up for. So it's definitely a situation. Let's see, Facebook users. So Russia has never been to play with, one to play with. Why would you try to bring a cartridge in? I'd be so scared going into Russia. I'd be triple checking my luggage and asking if my Tampax are even legal. I'd buy Tylenol there and not bring it. Shake my head. Well, um, wouldn't think that bringing a pen in is that big of a deal anywhere. It's not anywhere else.
I will also point out the fact that Brittney Griner lives and plays in Arizona, where medical marijuana is legal. She's a professional athlete who deals with aches and pains, and that was prescribed to her from a doctor as a means of pain medication. And she reportedly did not know that was in her luggage, so it was not intentional.
Here's the other part. She's played in Russia several times before.
Yep.
Regularly been to Russia. Regularly played in Russia.
I will also point out that if women athletes made more money and were paid more in America, then they wouldn't have to play as much overseas.
This is true. But the point is that she has been playing overseas for a while. She has a history of being in Russia. Marianne Williams says Russia is as anti-black and anti-LGBTQ as America is. Miss E says, "Oh, some white folks are loving that she was arrested. They're clowning in the news comments." Oh, okay, yeah. See that? I mean, the whole, yeah, okay. Wanda Lewis says they're always on the hunt for political prisoners. Pop says, "Yes, you're right. Thank you." The TB vaccine. Oh,
tuberculosis.
Talking about the tuberculosis vaccine sometimes left the scar, but the smallpox always left the scar. Miss E says it wasn't prescribed by a Russian doctor. She's been there. She knows how they are. Yeah, and she does know how they are, and I don't think that they made a big deal out of it before. I've never heard of them making big deals out of it like this before.
And I don't think she did it intentionally.
If you travel to a place several times and you do things a certain way several times and ain't nobody tripping, then the one time, then all of a sudden they're tripping. That's not on her. Whether she had a prescribed pen or not, I'm sure she's been there before with that pen. If she's regularly plays in Russia. Lynn Mills is a new name in the chat. How you doing? Says I just
welcome.
Had heated discussion yesterday on KETV post about Brittney Griner. So many negative responses from her being un-American and how she deserves this. It was upsetting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a racial, just like was said earlier. There's anti-black and anti-LGBTQ as America is, and you can see that's why Black Dynamite. You were saying all these people laughing or whatever. Yeah, that's I haven't looked at the mainstream comments yet on this, so that's why I didn't see it. But it makes sense to me that everybody's trying to act stupid like that. Stacey Jean says because supposedly Brittney was critical of the United States of America, KKK. So these people who think her situation is funny and now she needs help from the USA. Interesting. Okay. However, Russia is currently at war. This is true too. Yeah. Pop says Trump made a disparaging remark about her. Of course he did. Ms. E says they said she wouldn't stand for the flag, so America shouldn't care for her. They're still refusing to understand kneeling before the flag, and that it's not disrespectful. Oh, why, people? Why?
Maybe that's why she wouldn't stand for the flag, because she knew y'all ain't about nothing.
Hello. Message. Marianne Williams says, have to keep in mind that the war with Ukraine was breaking out at the same time. This visit to Russia was not the same as the others. America and Russia are closer to war than they've been in a long time. Very true. Beth Davis Wilson says that they are using her as a pawn. Why go to a country that is giving the finger to the world? You have to know that things could happen. Come on, take better care of yourself. No, not putting it on her. I'm not putting it on her.
She had to. That's how she eats.
Where she goes to work, bro. That's where she goes.
That's how she eats.
Right. She's been there. She's been there several times. Nobody was saying don't go. It wasn't like it was saying Americans better not go to Russia now because they're at war. None of that stuff was going on. She regularly goes there to play, and that's what's up. Black Dynamite says, "I like how LeBron James talked about if he was her, he would seriously consider if she would want to come back." Nah, she wants to come.
Yeah, she wants to come
Like,
on. She
you
wants to
want to
come
be in Russia and going to jail. Pop says, "How I don't care how you slice it. This is all political," and that's kind of really the bottom line on that.
Yeah, I'm right there with Beth Davis Wilson in the sentiment that they're using her as a pawn.
Oh
I kind
man,
of get
all
that
day,
feeling.
all day long. So anyway, 8:55. You believe in the concept of time? Yeah, we've touched on several issues here today that we will absolutely continue to talk about for sure. But in the meantime, between time, let's jump into some Happs. Get your Happs ready. It is a Friday. That means it's time for the weekend. It means it's time to get your shoulders moving. Let's go. What's the Happs? What's happening? What's going down? Ladies and gentlemen, time for the Happs. Time for us to talk about some things that's going on around town, some things that's happening, and time for you to get your Happs together and let us know what's important to you as well. Buddy, you got some Happs for the people?
Yes. We'll kick it off with the chat, man. Big shout out to all the chat chimers letting us know what's going down in the community. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Big shout out to my man Rome's Review, aka Mayor Sanchez.
Hey,
Devin the Dude is coming. You say at the waiting room Monday night?
Yep, he's a regular waiting room guest. He comes about once a year, so I love his shows.
Man, I was just listening to some Devin the Dude, little doobie ass tray, boo booing.
How you do me that way?
Man. So yeah, big shout out to Devin the Dude, man. If you want to have you a good time, go ahead and check that out. Also, big shout out to Precious McKesson, always politicking with us. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Letting the people know that tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the Nebraska Democratic Party will be hosting a yard sign drive. That's a drive-through event at Skinner Magnet School. We will candidate yard signs, candidate lit, vote by mail applications. Come see me. So again, holler at Precious if you're interested, or just pull up. Again, that's going down tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Skinner Magnet Center. I don't even got to get out the car. Just go ahead, drive through, get all your candidate information. And again, November, y'all, let's get active.
I like it.
What else we got? The Benson Days, is that still coming up? Is that
Benson Days passed?
Benson Days did pass, but the New American Arts Festival is coming up. That's what I was thinking of. There we go. Big shout out to all of our new Americans, all of our refugee brothers and sisters that's joining the community of Omaha. This upcoming actually today, first Friday of August in downtown Benson, right there at the heart of Maple and Military. The New American Arts Festival goes down. It is probably one of the most diverse shows you will ever see in the Omaha area. I mean, people from all corners of the world coming to celebrate their heritage, celebrate their culture, celebrate their arts, man. So definitely show up, show out, support the vendors, support the performers, just support the community, man. So, and also, make them feel welcome, make them feel a part of the community, because they are. So New Americans Art Festival goes down tonight in the heart of Benson. Check it out.
Yep. And don't forget, get your tickets early. This is going down. American Son. The play is happening at Benson Theater. It's directed by Kathy Tyree. We've been checking out the audition. I mean, not the auditions, the rehearsals. And yeah, powerful play. Definitely want to get that going. As a matter of fact, we're going to do some things here on First Sky Omaha for you to get some free tickets to go check this out. This is coming up it starts August the 18th. So coming up here in just a few weeks, and definitely get ready to get going on that. So American Son, this is a great play that's directed by Kathy Tyree. It's going to be at the Benson Theater. Definitely check that out. We would love to have you. And like I said, stay tuned for some free ticket opportunities coming up here on First Sky Omaha in the morning with Paul.
In the morning.
Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Brooke in the chat saying someone needs to bring Godfrey to Omaha for a set. Apparently he's from Lincoln.
I didn't know that.
It's interesting.
Lincoln, huh? That is interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Precious says, "Yep, pull up. Don't even got to get out of the car." That's what's up. Thanks everybody. Once again, just want to thank everybody for all the messages, all the well wishes.
Yes.
I was not expecting to get COVID. Was real mad when I got it. I was like, dang it, I avoided this thing for 3 years, and now I got it. Not
This whole
happy.
time. This whole
Yeah,
time.
man, we're gonna try to sneak out without having it. So
Man.
it is what it is. But thanks for everybody who's giving not just well wishes. This is not just a well wish crowd. This is we'll bring you a package crowd around here.
Man.
So
The fam.
the fam, yeah, really appreciate everybody who's looking out for me that way. I'm good. I got everything I need here at the house for the moment. Here, I'm definitely gonna hit the doctor when it's time to go, and just make sure everything's cool. I've been keeping close track of the temperatures and everything else, and just trying to stay on top of things and using all the remedies that you guys have suggested as well. And feeling decent, feeling a little bit better after the fever broke. Started feeling a lot better. So again, thank you very much, and keep safe. Put your mask on. Still out there, obviously.
For sure.
We're
For sure.
gonna keep doing what we're doing though this weekend. You know what I'm doing. You know the Happs is for me. Every like Robert Harris said on House Party 2. Every little step I take on me around here this weekend.
Yeah, man, get well soon, Paul. Please get well soon. But my little man started school, so I definitely wanted to drop this last Happs in before we get up out of here. For all the parents out there, all the students looking for supplies, big shout out to our partners over at Charles Drew. They will be having a back to school event that's going down. What is that? Tomorrow from 11 to 3 p.m. So if you have some time tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, make sure you check out Charles Drew. That's 5920 Maple Street. Again, that's the Charles Drew on 5920 Maple Street, kind of in the 60th and Maple area. There will be free backpack giveaways, also slushies for students attending schools. So yeah, definitely check that out. There'll also be some healthcare information out there. So again, please come out, show up and support. It's all for the babies.
There you go. We'd like to do some of these things ourselves. Mayor Sanchez has a great idea for Sky Omaha to do like a backpack, giveaway type situation. So maybe not this year, but we'll look into some of these things if there's any way that we help. We try to figure out how we can use our voice to make some difference and to get some help all over the place. So if you think this is one way that we can do that, I'm definitely down to try. Put out the call for supplies so that we can give them to the babies. Sky Omaha loves the kids. So yeah, let us know, give us some ideas, and we will be putting that calendar together as well. So everybody who wanted to volunteer for that, hit me up and we'll get that going. Lots happening here with Sky Omaha, lots of changes, good changes, we hope. And that's what's up. Also, just want to put in everybody's ear. Is this the year for Native Omaha Days?
No.
So it's next year.
And it's next year. And on that note, I did contact with Brother Mark Nichols. Big shout out to everybody who gave him a shout out. Working with the Atlanta Omaha Days events. Apparently they are doing some things. So yeah, man, look out for more stuff like that. Again, trying to connect Omahans around the country, man. So yeah, we're growing.
9:03. We're gonna get on up out of here. If you believe in the concept of time, that is, Buddy, you got some words for the people?
As always, man, big shout out to everyone letting their mind be free, letting their voices be heard. Had a couple first-time listeners, man, a couple first-time chat chimers. We appreciate you for joining the conversation. As always, tell a friend and tell a friend. Continue the conversation, spread it, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard, not just here on the show, but everywhere you go, man. And know that your voice matters. Know that people are listening. People in, I'm not going to say high places, but people with a little more responsibility. I'll say that. Are listening. So again, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. And until next time, Paul B, take it away.
Want to give thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to speak to be on this land and speak while we're here. Want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. I want to give a shout out to all of you, the chat chimers who continue this conversation and work with us. Really appreciate that. Everybody who is a reoccurring member of the station as well. Also, if you're not a reoccurring member, then if you're inclined to do that, then please go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button. And I want to give a special shout out to Tamika Johnson, who just donated. Somehow I got a ping on my phone that said Tamika Johnson just donated. So it's never happened before. I don't know why it's happening now, but I appreciate that. So now that I see it, thank you, Tamika Johnson, for contributing today. And anybody else who would like to, firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and we really appreciate that. Can't do without you all. So again, thank you very much. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Remember, COVID is still out there. I'm telling you from firsthand experience, COVID's still happening. Put your mask on. Do all that good stuff. Oh, that's right. Everybody keeps on asking me about putting the Cash App together. I tried to put a first Sky Omaha Cash App together, and there's something I'm missing in order to get it going. So we'll put our personal Cash Apps in the chat or whatever as soon as I find it. Sorry that we're lagging on that, y'all. We do want to make it easy for you guys to donate, so we'll definitely keep working on that and put that together. I'll be laying around here with the COVIDs this weekend, so maybe I'll try to figure that out now. So I got a little downtime.
Get well soon, bro. Get well soon.
Appreciate you. Give my love to the fam. Yeah, shout out to Buddy and his fam, who always tries to keep it cool, keep it quiet, so Pops can do his thing in the basement and all that good stuff. So shout out, man, and we'll see you Monday. You guys have a good one. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red